The Honorable Asman Kamama, you're still the one responding to the next.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the 3rd of July 2014, the Member of Parliament from Vita constituency, Honorable Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir, requested for a statement on Nyumba Kumi security initiative. The Honorable Member, while appreciating the noble goal of the initiative, noted that the government was yet to formulate an elaborate policy to sustain the initiative and remunerate village elders whom he noted that had supported the program since its inception. The Honorable Member specifically sought information on the following. One, that when is the government intending to entrench the program in law through an act of parliament or regulations? Number two, the measures put in place by the government to financially cater for elders involved in the program now and in the future. The Speaker, this is a response by the Cabinet Secretary. The Nyumba Kumi initiative is a strategy that seeks to redefine community policing in terms of households in a residential court, an estate, a block of houses, a manyatta, a street, a market center, a gated community, a village, or a bula. The objective of this initiative is to give effect to Chapter 244C of the Constitution and Section 96 to 100 of the National Police Service Act of 2011. So, Speaker, the government has already developed a draft policy on community policing that is currently undergoing validation process. The government, however, does not have any immediate intention to come up with any specific legislation on community policing, as both the Constitution and the National Police Service Act of 2011 have specific provisions that support community policing and, by extension, Nyumba Kumi initiative. Mr. Speaker, community policing is based on the principle of community police partnership that enhances sharing of crime intelligence. This partnership is voluntary, whereas the government acknowledges the role of village elders towards the success of this initiative. It has not considered any payment to local leaders, including village elders who are supporting the Nyumba Kumi initiative. Community policing involves members of the society and not elders alone. However, the ministry is open to consultation with Parliament on modalities for compensating village elders and other persons supporting this initiative. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Do you want me to go in? Okay, it's okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, once again, unfortunately, the executive has failed us. The chapters of the Constitution that have been reported actually talk about the objectives and the functions of the National Police Service, and I just wish to in the Constitution of the National Police Service is to comply with constitutional standards of human rights and fundamental freedoms, and this is what you quoted. And D is to train staff to the highest possible standards of competence and integrity, and to respect human rights and fundamental freedoms and dignity. And Mr. Speaker, Section 96 to 100 of the National Police Service Act of the year 2011 does not talk about the Nyumba Kumi initiative at all. This particular act talks about something that had been there previously, which is known to be there in every constituency, and that is the community policing. And that is something that has already been there. And the reason why they came up with something that was going to be more revamped of a Nyumba Kumi initiative, and at the rate at which we are going, it is definitely for sure the answer that they've also come up with regarding giving something to the balozis and the elders for the Nyumba Kumi initiative is something that the government has indicated that they have not budgeted for at all. And Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence, I will request that I will prepare a draft bill for consideration since the executive have failed to come up with something that will be able to be an all-inclusive one?
Well, I think the last part of that, the statement on the first page suggests that there's a draft national policy on community policing that is currently undergoing validation process. Will obviously mean that once it is through, it will have to come to this very house. A lot of times it's important that before certain bills with significant impact on the country are passed, the House expresses itself on the policy behind the proposed legislation. But I thought both yourself and the chairman of the committee did not look at the first paragraph in response. It creates something which is not correct. Where it says the objective of this initiative is to give effect to Chapter 244E of the Constitution. The Constitution of Kenya 2010 has only 18 chapters. So Chapter 244E is something unknown to anybody in their right minds in this country. So I wonder which chapter this one is meant to refer to. I think they wanted to talk about an article of the Constitution and not a chapter. But it is wrong that it should be allowed to stand this way. It is part of the record of the House. Maybe the chair can respond to this. Honorable Kamama.
Mr. Speaker, sorry for actually talk about Chapter 244. I think the intention was actually to talk about Article 244. So sorry for that. And the Speaker, what Honorable Nasir raised is valid, but I want to remind him that Nyumba Kumi initiative is a new paradigm shift from the way we've been managing our security matters. Of course, we had a community policing, but community policing has really not been very effective as the government wanted it to be. And this initiative has actually served. We've benchmarked with the people of Tanzania, Ethiopia, and this initiative has really produced wonders in those particular countries. And that's why the government has come up with a draft national policy on the same. And I just want to remind also Honorable Nasir that you can use a policy to actually implement a program, like a government program such as this one. And you can also it's free to generate a legislation, because that is our work as legislators, as long as it will meet the threshold so that this House can approve it. But I want to say that it is recognized by the National Police Service, the Act of 2011, and also by the article that I referred to. So, Speaker, we also want to call on other members to really support this initiative, because we want a secure country. On matters of human rights, I want to inform the other member that and we'll share, the committee will share with the Cabinet Secretary to ensure that no human rights are violated at all. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, actually, to even probably re-emphasize on this issue, the last time that any policy was done, which was funded by an NGO, the last time any policy framework was done was in the year 2008. And from 2008, this country has come up with a whole different shift into the way we have been affected by various crimes and levels of insecurity. And I think it is very, very important that they need to come up with this. They're talking about the draft national policy on the same, and they need to realize that today they have tried to slyly mislead this House by talking that, they have already considered it in an Act of Parliament, and we all know that the Act of Parliament talks about something totally different. A concept that is going to be borrowed and improved on, but something that has got nothing. We already have existing community policing levels up to constituency routes. Thank you.
Honorable Kamama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I appreciate the scholarly manner in which Honorable Amalo normally presents his cases or his statements. But I want to deny the fact that, or the claim that we have a Nyumba Kumi that has been formed by criminals. I want to confirm that we have gangs of criminals. They could be 18, they could be 8, they could be 20, but we have these gangs. But there is no Nyumba Kumi for criminals. Mr. Speaker, on cost-benefit analysis, because he has referred to a case study, Amalo normally talks about methodologies. He wants how the findings and deductions. From the Speaker, we want to tell him that this committee and the Secretariat on Nyumba Kumi will meet sometimes next week, and we will also consult widely. If we find that it's imperative, it's prudent that we have all honorable members briefed on this program, I think we will organize a Kamkunji so that members, we call the Gakuzi's committee to come and brief members on what this Nyumba Kumi entails and what they intend to do. So that will be done progressively, but the timeline is after thorough consultations have been done on this matter. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of how village elders, in his place, they have what they call ligurus or mukasas. So I think, if you talk about the wage bill, I think this Sarah Serem will not even, will not entertain this idea. Now that we are not even, the counties are not cascading the employment of board administrators up to the level of village admins because of the bloated wage bill. But so the government is not intending to pay them anything. It is on voluntary because security is for all of us and it's for the benefit of all. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Nasir wanted to say that the last time when we had a policy on this matter was in 2008, and that we really is for a legislation. We want to try this policy. If it doesn't work, then it's free to generate a legislation, which I'll be ready to also support and second when it does. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, Honorable Kamama, you're still the man on the hot seat.